Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm running a little low on energy, so I am going to have a double this morning. I drink cacao, which is loaded with antioxidants and other great things, unlike coffee. And it tastes great, especially with raw honey, a little teaspoon of raw honey. There goes the school bus. What time is it? 6:08. Good morning. I'm Kaye, here on my homestead in Tennessee. Let me take a sip. Okay, so today, I want to tell you what happened on Sunday, okay? Why does it always have to be snakes? So I get a text on Sunday, and it's my neighbor Kip, my good friends. Kip did the roof on my shop, which I happened to mention in yesterday's video, and they live not the next property, but the next property over. So the people in between us, she was in her kitchen folding laundry or doing laundry, and had the back door open. And there's a reason why I have a storm door on my front door and my sunroom door. I don't have a storm door here on the garage, but there's another, that's the door, and then inside the garage is the back door. So at any rate, her door was open. She's got a dog, and the dog was going in and out. And she heard a yelp. And you know where I'm going with this. And so they looked out, and a big, fat, I was told specifically, it was about 30 inches long, so I guess not quite 3 feet, but very fat timber rattler. And I'm not going to put a picture on the screen. You'll have to, because I didn't get the picture they sent me. It was only partial snake. And so the timber rattler was very pregnant, and it had bit the dog. I don't know the size of this dog, but I feel like it's not a big dog. Anyway, had bit the dog on the nose. And so her father, she lives with her father, and the father got his shotgun and dispensed with the snake. But then there were all the wiggling babies inside. And so this is a reality when you live in the country, and you can't just, I know it's listen, I lived in the city for 40 years, okay? The first time I heard about a snake coming inside someone's house, it didn't. It was on the back, it was just off the back deck. Back deck, where are we working? On my back deck. So the first time I heard a story about when I was in California, there were no screen doors, and I would leave and we didn't have all these bugs flying in. And when we were first there, we had a lot of bats, and I don't know what happened to the bats, but they went. After all the construction, the 3 McMansions that went up on either side of us, a lot of the old trees disappeared, and so did the bats. So I got a bat house. I digress. Snake. So, by the way, I installed a bat house. You may be around on my channel long enough to remember that, but there was never any evidence that they found it. I put it up on the, I could do it up there too. But anyway, so the Kip and Natalie were just getting home, so Natalie went with her and took the dog to the vet, and the dog survived. And Kip and the man took care of the babies. So I texted my other neighbor, Derek, to let him know, and he's reported back that a dog just a few houses down from Kip had been killed by a snake bite a week ago. So it is the dog days of August, and Randy reminded me. I remember that he told me when he first came that in the dog days of August, the snakes, I guess I don't know, shed their skin, and the skin comes down over their eyes, and so they are more likely to strike out. And I don't know if that's what happened here. The skin looked fine from what I saw, but that is something to watch out for. And so I decided not to let the cats out. They stayed inside all on Monday because if there's a mama, there's a papa. And so we have to be vigilant and careful, observant. Just like I said when I started Late Bloomer. My late bloom, I started this and then kind of dropped it, but it's the Late Bloomer lessons, LBLs. Be vigilant, be observant. And there was another one. It's been 13 years and I've forgotten. But be vigilant and be observant, you know. And so I haven't exactly done that this year because, you know, we've had such drought, you know, weeks with no rain. Again, today there's no rain. I cannot possibly water that lower garden. So corn's done, and rattlesnake pole beans are done, and there's a few peppers that look good. The okra's still going. Sweet potatoes are fine because it's so shaded, you know, it keeps the moisture in the soil. And so, and watermelons. Today I'm going to go take a look and see if I have one, because my neighbor texted yesterday, Derek texted, and they cut their first one yesterday. So the last time I was down there I had one about that big, but since I don't know the variety, it could be a baby and it's done, or it could be, you know, expected to go much bigger. But all the melons are down there and I'm hopeful. Okay, so I overwintered a basil plant. It's right over there. It's got a woody stem. A woody stem. What was I just saying about a woody stem? I managed to overwinter this basil plant, which is almost 3 feet tall in the pot. It was completely in bloom, and I kept meaning to cut off the flower stalks, you know, and now there's like 2 or 3 flowers on each stalk, but I've got a whole bowl of them. They still smell fantastic, so I'm going to put this in a jar with apple cider vinegar with the mother, and I'm going to infuse it, and so I can have basil infused vinegar. Okay, so that's that. And then I did a whole, in fact, I'll put a video right up here, a link. The white card is a link. You click on that, you can go to the video. The cardinal basil. Let's see how my cardinal basil's doing. It's doing well. I'll show it to you. I think there's only one bloom on it though. Last year it was covered in these big maroon puffballs. Okay, today we're going to be finishing, oh, I wanted to show you. There's always so much going on. I wanted to show you. Have you ever seen a butterfly laying eggs? Take a look. There you are. Look at this massive swallowtail. Hi. Hi. Come back. Come back. Hi. Hi. You are massive. Are you laying eggs on my calamondin? Oh, my kaffir lime? Yes, you are. When they fold their abdomen down, curve it down, that's what, and plus there's no flowers on this, so obviously, yes, see, that's just laid an egg right there. You can see it. There's the egg, right there. Okay, where'd you go? They usually need a minute between layings. So they fly around and then they lay an egg and then they fly around and they lay another egg. Hi, okay, here we go, right in front of us. See? It folded its abdomen underneath the leaf, and now we're gonna look at that and see. Oh, it was on top of the leaf. Okay, it's been a long time since I've caught I've caught that action. Ooh, and here we have an unfriendly visitor. We're gonna tear this deck out. I'm gonna try to reuse the wood for something or other. And see what's underneath, and then get a better idea of how to move forward on what we're gonna do back here. I mean, first of all, this has to be a deeper trench. It goes all the way across down there. And so I was in the kitchen and I looked out the window and there was the, I'm gonna put the name on the screen, I forgot to look it up. It's the biggest swallowtail and has big black bold stripes. It's not the typical yellow swallowtail like I showed in yesterday's video. No, is that yesterday's or today's? Oh, I'm doing so many I'm getting confused. Yeah, it's set for today, so you'll see it today. The yellow swallowtail, it's not the typical one, it's the atypical one that's larger with yellow and black stripes. And I saw it flying around, and I had my phone in my pocket and I ran out and I took a clip of it. You know, I very quickly assessed it was flying around the kaffir lime, which is not in bloom. And I'm going, why is it flying around the kaffir lime unless it's going to lay its eggs on it? And of course that's what it did. And since I saw it happen, I could immediately go in with a camera and say, there's the egg, which was a kind of a copper tan color. Unlike the monarch eggs, they're a little bit different. So anyway, I predict I will have caterpillars eating the leaves on the kaffir lime. But since I've never had a kaffir lime, in all the years I've had the kaffir lime, I've never had a kaffir lime, or kefir, however you say it. They're actually noted for their leaves. I believe in Asian cooking they use the leaves to flavor dishes. And so in the past I have cut leaves, really nice, fresh, good-looking leaves I've cut and dried and saved for the occasional dish. So it's pretty exciting when you see the life cycle of a butterfly, and I was very into the monarch life cycle when I was in California. We were part of the Western migration, and I did a whole video. If you're new to my channel, and you love butterflies, I did one Christmas, we drove up to Santa Cruz and followed the Western migration. It starts below Los Angeles and goes, and they overwinter in a particular area near Santa Cruz. So basically I was just stopping at all the points that were listed, and then, but of course it's only a fraction of the butterflies that it once was, sadly. And that is attributed mainly to pesticides in open areas and on the sides of roads and all that. You know, they they kill off the milkweed, and that's the only thing they can lay their eggs on. So of course it drops down the numbers. So what I hope to accomplish today is the rest of the deck coming out, the rest of the deck boards coming out. There were hundreds and hundreds of nails, and from our experience of taking the raised beds apart, when the man built the raised beds and he took them apart, all the old wood, the old pressure treated wood that was rotten, wound up in a pile down here with 1,000 nails in it, and very dangerous. And then if you put it in your burn pile, then you've got nails in your burn pile. So he is taking the extra time, and I'm glad, to remove the nails. But since this was such a lengthy process, you know, he could have had that thing apart in an hour if he was just throwing it in a big pile, but he was doing it very neatly because most of the deck boards were reusable. And so we haven't gotten down to the support structure yet. But you're going to see that in a video soon. So I'm hoping today we can get the rest of the boards off, nails put away, and the wood stored in the back of the shop. And also I want to put in I mentioned this the other day, it hasn't been done yet. And I think now at this point it needs to be tilled again. So we're going to set up a row for sweet peas, and hopefully we're going to get some rain. I mean, last week when I looked at my phone, it said 8 days of rain. No, 9 or 10 days of rain. You know, 30 to 50 to 70%. And we got none here. Randy told me that 10 miles from here they got 5 inches. And I'm going, oh man, we need some rain so bad. So I'm going to have to go over and water the corn. It was 65 when I came out. So that's a blessing. So I am going to plant Oregon Sugar Pod 2 snow peas. These are botanical interseeds, and I think they package these with the idea that you're just going to have these little short rows, but I want one long row, and so I bought 4 packages, and we'll see. I may not need them all, but so many times I've started planting peas, and you plant them 1 inch apart. So I didn't want to get halfway down the row and run out of seeds. Yesterday I didn't get the weeds pulled out over there because the sun came out and it was so hot. I talked to the place that sells the beautiful stone I'm interested in, and if you may not know this, but if you buy odd-shaped pieces of stone, flagstone or whatever, the stone, it's a fraction of the cost as if you buy something that they've already pre-cut into a pattern. You know, they've numbered the pieces, they come off of the pallet with a numbered piece, and you know exactly how to put it down, and it looks beautiful. They have gone to the trouble to say this dark one looks great with this copper one, etc. It's very multicolored, natural stone from the quarry, the Crab Orchard Quarry near Crossville. So you can fall in love with the picture, and then you can have a reality check. And so I'm thinking, okay, well I don't want to spend the money for the pre-planned because it's a lot more. And if I get the other one, I don't have a nice big flat area to lay this thing out and just look at it and study it. And I do have an art degree, so technically I should be able to do this. Put this one here and this one here and this one here, but I mean, it gets down to you have a piece like this, but you might have a little piece like this. And so it's like, oh dear, this in my mind is turning into a big long thing. And the stone has to be put in when the cement is wet. So, wow. I'm rethinking all this. I'm sitting there yesterday and I saw several notices on the news and heard from a friend about the impending economic crash. And I'm going, Kaye, if those structural boards are okay, slap a new top on it and get this thing done so you can get back to the garden and you can worry about stone next year if things improve. So every time I say, this is what I'm going to do, something winds up changing my mind, and I keep learning the lesson not to tell you all, that I'm definitely going to do stone when it's very expensive and impractical. So it's not expensive if you want to lay out your own pattern. It's very reasonable, the cost of the stone and the cost of the delivery, which I would do. I'm not going to go up there and pick up close to 4,000 pounds. So that's where that's at. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. Lots to do, and I need to cover my pears, the 5 that I have. Have you ever made anything out of pears, like tincture? Or I know my friend Sharon in Delaware is the person to ask because she has so many pears. So does Angie in Kentucky. She has a huge pear tree. They're just covered up in pears. And here I am. I may get 5. I don't know. But 5's better than nothing. Anyway, thank you so much for listening today. Just checking in with what's going on, and leave me a question. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in a comment below the video. Be sure to like it, and be sure to subscribe if you're interested in gardening, plant medicine, just the general challenges and rewards of doing what I'm doing on a homestead. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. God bless. Are you wondering why you're out here alone? Have you been a good boy? Watch out for the snake, okay?